football deep sleepers Kendall Wright struts his stuff. It's officially championship week in most fantasy football leagues, so much is on the line for those lucky enough to still be alive. Of course, chances are your team is pretty solid across the board if you've made it this far, but one final week of picking the right sleeper or two would no doubt put you over the top in order to claim that coveted fantasy championship. Here are a few under-the-radar players who could make a difference for you this week from ourlads.com. Wr. Kendall Wright, Chicago Bears. Wright caught 7 of 13 targets for 81 yards from Bears quarterback Mitchell Trubisky last week, making that 17 receptions on 24 targets and 188 yards over the last 2 games. That's impressive for Indy wide receiver. Wright faces the winless Browns secondary on Sunday, who ranked 21st in the league. RB Isaiah Crowell, Cleveland Browns. Crowell, like the Browns, has been quiet this season, but he has rushed for over 70 yards in 3 of his last 4 games. He didn't see many carries in a blowout loss to Baltimore last weekend, but should be more competitive versus the Bears, with Cleveland looking for its first win. Fantasy rankings: how the players stack up at each position in Week 16. Jack Doyle, Indianapolis Colts. Doyle has been up and down this season, but is coming off a solid 7-catch, 47-yard performance. Saturday, he lines up against a tough Baltimore defense that is vulnerable versus tight ends. The Ravens have given up the 9th most fantasy points to the position. Wr. Devant Parker, Miami Dolphins. The talented Parker is coming off a 12-target, 6-catch, 89-yard game at Buffalo and now faces a Kansas City Chiefs pass defense that has given up the 4th most fantasy points to wideouts. Wr. Robbie Anderson, New York Jets and quarterback Bryce Petty's first start of the season. Anderson continued his solid year with 5 catches for 40 yards. Even more promising, the 12 targets he received from Petty. It's clear the two have a special connection going back to last season when Anderson had 2 80-plus yard receiving games in Petty's 4 starts. Wr. Adam Humphries, Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Humphries has always been one of Jameis Winston's favorite targets, and he was a factor last week with 5 catches on 5 targets for 43 yards and a touchdown. Humphries has 18 catches over the last 4 weeks and faces a Carolina defense Sunday that has given up the 6th most fantasy points to wide receivers. RB C.J. Anderson, Denver Broncos. After a mid-season lull, culminating in a season-low 5 carries in Week 12, Anderson's workload has increased dramatically in each of the last 3 weeks. Last week at Indianapolis, Anderson got an eye-opening 30 carries, which resulted in 158 yards. The Broncos are at Washington this weekend to face the league's 28th ranked run defense. For more fantasy analysis, check out ourlads.com.